We all help one another. Many think that actors can go out and say, well, I picked this job, but most of the time, we simply accept whatever work we can. It's difficult to achieve lofty goals unless really lucky circumstances arise. Superman is undoubtedly a legendary figure that young men have pondered about and imagined in their minds. There is an honesty to Clark, Kal-El. Kal-El is the best way to put it since he is both Superman and Clark. There is an honesty to him which crosses over on both. We may only get one job offer every year, but because we must accept that job in order to pay the rent, we don't just receive dozens of employment offers. Not all jobs are excellent jobs, so making that adjustment and switch is not all that difficult. I guess that when I'm creating a character, it's typically based on the nature of their upbringing, the nature of their parents, and my own upbringing. Growing up, I didn't see many comic books. I exercised for around 2.5 hours every day. I never considered myself to be unfortunate. Whilst I admit to being a gigantic softie, I believe that these days, being emotionally invested is definitely seen as more macho. You may exercise till you are blue in the face, but you must diet and maintain a trim physique since your abs won't be seen if you are not thin. I like giving something my all. Things will start moving if there is a lot of continuous activity. Your final employment might be at any time. For the immortals, it was body weight exercises like crunches, pull-ups, and cardio based on martial arts. There wasn't much time for anything other than studies and boarding school. As an actor, you really can't have regrets since doing so would lead to your self-destruction. I'm destined to be physical since I come from a family of 6 males. No one wants to be Fatty Cavill, after all. For instance, working out in the morning will have you feeling great by the time you get at work. Even if everyone claims that Superman is admirable, a lot of individuals can claim that this is why they find him uninteresting. I exercise for around 2.5 hours every day. Their appreciation of it has a wonderful quality that is extremely Superman-like. The Nick moniker was Fatty Cavill. Perhaps Henry is unconvincing in the role because he doesn't consider this. I won't reveal exactly how much. Yet one thing I truly like about Superman fans is how enthusiastic and open-minded they are. I'm quite appreciative to her. Of course, you need to work out, but you also need to lose all the weight and keep it off. She molded each of us into a loving, enduring individual. It is also how you get an 8-pack. In fact, despite being taller, I was overweight when I left. It's difficult to evaluate other performers because, as an actor, your priorities vary from those of the audience. I want people to respect and believe in the character, and I want young people to grow up wanting to be Superman. Pretending to be someone else in order to sell a tale is the goal of acting. My mom is such a fiercely independent lady. Don't worry about failure from the outside since it will take care of itself. To so many individuals, this character is really important. She did a fantastic job of raising her family of 5 sons. You have already conceded defeat if you have a backup strategy. Many Batman devotees may assert so. I want to do it correctly. As Superman, I will admit that I was much larger. Alternatively, God forbid, there may be individuals who are struggling and hope that this guy would appear and save them. As an actress, a lot of what you do, or what I do, because I can't speak for everyone, isn't necessarily deliberately planned. My father oversees my management team and also works in finance, while my mother is employed by a bank. I carried extra weight to school. Hence, when you get at work, you've already been up for an hour or 2 and are ready to go while everyone else is still wiping the sleep from their eyes. My idea of Superman is fundamentally a lonely man who has lived alone all of his life. I've always concerned about my weight, so I'm being modest about it. But I also don't want to start the argument that if Henry weighs this much, he must be the ideal Superman. This industry is full of failure. We need hope, no matter what time period we're in. For me, it often comes down to simply experiencing things in the moment, at which point your body responds. At the end of the day, just because you're so used to speaking that manner, it often requires effort when I'm speaking to my fiancée to return to English. Americans don't look horrible in spandex, in my opinion. I want to treat it fairly. The training regimen for immortals was heavily influenced by martial arts, with plenty of bodyweight exercises, minimal real heavy lifting, and an extremely low-calorie intake. Much larger, not having employment guarantees is the toughest aspect about performing. While I'm performing speech for a day of filming, I often notice that I talk the whole time with an American accent. Although some individuals do better under pressure than others, pressure may sometimes destroy your performance and force you in directions you don't want to go. Consider success. I don't like to use the term identities, but I will because I can't think of a better one.